Welcome back to the American Advisor. Scott Carter here with Brian Baker on this Monday. It's Debt Ceiling Monday. We're spending a lot of money. $58,000, $26,000, $73,000 a second. Smackaroos, schlambolis, dinero, clams.
Clams. I haven't heard that expression in a while.
How much do you think we're spending? I'd love to hear from you. Our number 877-341-2646. How much does the government borrow for every dollar it spends? This is another crazy stat. All these stats are out today because we're hitting the debt ceiling on the clock. That's pretty big, too. Does this impact you when you get up in the morning, you wake up and you go into the grocery store filling up your tank of gas, you're saying, boy, things are bad, and if our government doesn't get control of its debt spending, I don't know what I'm going to do? I don't believe anybody thinks that. Do you think that? Did you think that this morning, Brian?
It wasn't the first thing that popped into my head, but...
Do you even care?
Of course I care.
But we talk about it every day. But does it change anything that you do in your life? And because the point I'm getting to is that here's the problem. Do you change any behavior whatsoever because Uncle Sam's broke?
Well, yes, there are a few things, but it's not necessarily because of everything that's going on right now. I mean, I think anyone that had the good sense to look down the road and take a look at the situation our government is in, people my age know, okay, you're going to have to do something unique for your retirement. You can't count on Social Security. So you just go ahead and you decide you're not going to plan for that. You're going to move towards setting aside your own funds, your own retirement funds. But day to day, I don't know how much people really are impacted by it. I don't know how much they really think about it. They're worried about paying their own bills and keeping their job and, paying the mortgage and just being a responsible citizen.
I think it goes the other way. I think people hear it and they don't change what they spend. They're saying, how can I get my share? How can I get more from the government before the money runs out? Because that's what I think happens. But when you see these stats and it doesn't necessarily change your behavior, it should change your concern about your representative, the leadership in Washington. This is a major challenge, folks. Major problem. It's going to have an issue. It's going to impact our economy. Eventually, that impacts you. I'd love to hear your comments on it. 877-341-2646. Let's get to the financial news.
In the know and up to date, here's the latest breaking financial news on the American Advisor.
Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner said Monday that he will immediately halt investments in two big government pension plans so the government can continue to borrow money. I love that. First thing we go to, we don't cut spending.
No.
We don't decide to shave off and not spend some money, not pay bills to the contractors. What are we going to do? Let's take the people's money.
Let's raid the pension.
Let's raid the pension plan. Why don't we just go and call some of these foreign countries and say, you know what, that payment that you receive every month, that $20 billion, Pakistan, Iran, others, we're going to hold off a little bit because we're having some debt challenges. No, we decide to pay the bills by robbing the pension plan or not basically contributing to the pension plan. Treasury Geithner informed Congress of his decision in a letter stating that the government had officially reached its $14.3 trillion borrowing limit, and he repeated his warning that all kinds of nasty things happen if we don't raise this debt ceiling. Defaults, insolvency, the president said the worst recession, worse recession than anything we've experienced before. A little bit of hyperbole, shock factor, scare people into these problems. A bounce back in materials and financial companies erased early losses in the stock market today. Commodities like corn and cotton, they were rising earlier in midday trading, in part because of the slide in the dollars sent the prices of raw materials higher. Drivers are starting to see a little relief in the gas pump just ahead of the summer driving season. I think it was off 3 cents from Friday. And U.S. home builders are concerned that the struggling housing market won't recover this year, and some feel it may be getting worse. Well, no kidding. There's a glut of homes on the market. It's very hard to get money. quite a bit of concern. No one wants to try to catch a falling knife, so the housing market is not recovering as quickly as anyone would like it to be. Last year, the number of people who purchased previously owned homes fell to a 13-year low. Sales of new homes were even worse, hitting the lowest level on record, dating back nearly a half of century. That's the financial news in the markets today. Right now, the Dow's off 20 at 12,576. Gold's trading at $14.92.